Hey y'all, we're gonna make some bone broth today. So I'm using the turkey carcasses that I had left over. I'm gonna turn my roaster on high for about an hour. I'm gonna place all the bones in the roaster and let them just simmer in the roaster for about an hour. I've had all these in the freezer. Some of these are wings and legs and anything that you had left over from your turkey. We cooked 3 over the holidays, so we have a lot. So all these are frozen, or have been frozen. This is a whole turkey carcass. This is gonna be turkey bone broth, is what this is gonna be. Now, if you just have a one turkey, you can do this in a crock pot the same way, but I had a lot, so I'm doing it in my roaster, and I'm gonna can this. When I say I'm simmering these bones, I mean with no water. I'm kind of roasting the bones. So I've got this on about 350, and I'm gonna leave it for about an hour, and then I'll turn it down. This is nothing mandatory that you have to do. This is just me. I love to roast the bones. Now I'm doing something totally different, and it's gonna gross some of you out, but I'm adding chicken feet to my bone broth. Bone broth, the difference between bone broth and regular chicken or turkey broth is it's a heavier, darker broth. And the reason is it's got a lot more vitamins in it. The collagen breaks down in here. It gives you like a, what's the word, a gelatin. It's good for your bones. It's good for our whole body. I've read that if you add the chicken feet, it helps break the collagen down better in bone broth, so that's why I'm doing this. I'm just gonna dump them in to my pot. This has been on high for about an hour. I'm gonna cut it down to low, and I'm gonna cover it with water. So you may ask me why I put those chicken feet in there, and that's one reason. I want the strongest, boldest bone broth I can get from these bones. And when I read that helps break down the collagen in the bones, which is what I want in my bone broth, I thought I'd give it a try. You do not have to add that at all. Y'all, I was washing some vegetables to go in here, and I realized I do not have my microphone on. My brand new microphone that I was trying to improve my lighting and my microphone. I do have the light on though. Now what I'm doing is just covering this completely with water. I do use warm water. Some people don't. Some people use cold. So it's just whatever you prefer. Some people use vegetables. Some people don't. I am going to, because like I say, I want all the vitamins I can get in here. I want all the collagen to break down. I just want all the vitamins and minerals I can get in here. Now, I don't know if y'all are like me, but my refrigerator is a mess from the holidays. So I have some vegetables that are what I call spent, that I probably won't use them for much. So I've got some celery I'm throwing in. I've washed these, but I'm not cutting off anything. Carrots I've washed, cut the ends off. You don't even have to do that. But I'm not peeling them because a lot of vitamins are in the peelings. This is some onion I had in my refrigerator that needs to be used. I'm just chunking it in. And I believe I've got something in my freezer too. Hold on. Yes, I've got some onions out of my garden. This is some broccoli stalks that I cut out of my garden, and some, I believe it's some onion. It's the onions that I peeled. I don't normally put garlic in here, But now look, see, this is the peels off onions. You can put this right in here. It's good stuff, y'all. And just make sure it's covered with water. So let's check it out here. So we've got all the bones, the carcass, all the vegetables that I'm gonna put in it. I'm not seasoning this. I'll season it with salt and pepper a little later, but that's all. So I've turned it down. I've got everything pretty well covered. I need to push the vegetables down in there. I've got it pretty well covered with water. And I'm just gonna let this stay on keep warm. I usually do mine 24 hours. When I feel like it's ready, I'll strain it and put it in the refrigerator if I'm not ready to can it right then. So we'll just play it by ear. I got to tell you that 2 of my daughters went in together and got this very nice roaster for me for Christmas. I love it. I don't know how many quarts it is. I'm thinking they told me it was 26. I'm very excited. Thank you, Shannon and Maranda. Good morning, y'all. The bone broth has been sitting on keep warm, which is about 180 degrees. That's about where you want it to stay overnight. Now this morning I'm gonna add a couple of bay leaves, maybe 4 bay leaves, and a handful of black peppercorns. So let's do that real quick. So I'm just gonna carefully open my pan. I'm gonna let y'all see how it looks overnight. I've got bacon going and biscuits fixing to go in the oven, and this stock simmering. So all I'm gonna do is just sprinkle some of these. Let's do about 3 or 4. Let's put one over here. Let me see if I can get y'all where you can see it. So remember we have the onion skins in here. We have onions. We have green onions out of my garden. We've got 3 turkey carcasses. And yes, we have chicken feet. I've added some bay leaves and some peppercorn to this. And we're gonna let this simmer at about 180 degrees all day long. So we just got home from church, and I'm gonna put my apron on and I'm gonna strain this broth. So I'm doing this because I think we're gonna watch a movie or something this afternoon. So I wanted to get this done, and I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator. You can can it or freeze it right after you strain it when it cools down, or you can do what I'm doing and put it in the refrigerator till tomorrow. So I've had this simmering for over 24 hours. And I'm just gonna strain this. I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna strain everything out that I can. And I'm gonna strain it in this, get rid of all this, and then I'll strain it again in, I use a flour sack. Some people use a cheesecloth, but a flour sack does the best for me. But I have to strain this probably, counting this time, probably 2 more times. So another step. So I strained my broth to get the main bones out, and y'all saw me do that. I just dipped it in a colander and got it out. I haven't done the second strain yet, but I went ahead, cooled it down, put it in this jar, and put it in the refrigerator. Now I actually have 3. I have 1 jar right there and 1 jar over here that you can't see. What I wanted to show you is the fat that formed on the top. Now this fat is good. It's good to use in cooking, like you could freeze it and use it in chicken noodle soup. Fat is a good thing. We just have to use it the right way and a balance. The rest of this is bone broth, and I will skim the fat off the top, and I will strain this again in my flour sack towel. And I'll take you along and show you how I do it. I've got a little strainer over the bowl, and I'm still going to strain my fat. But I want you to see this, to see how thick it is. It's like a gel. Now, I've had some people tell me that their bone broth is like gel. And honestly, in my opinion, that makes for good bone broth. That means the bone marrow has broke down and the collagen is in there. But when it's warmed or at room temperature after you can it, it's going to be liquid. The little bit of fat that you leave in it is good. The reason I'm straining this little fat is because I want a little bowl full to freeze to season some things with, like chicken dressing and my chicken noodle soup. And I'm going to strain it to keep all the little bones from being in it. So here in my sink, I have my colander from the other day when I strained it and a pan. And I am just going to put this flour sack. Now you'll notice as I pour this, you can see the gelatin in here. This is a good thing, but this is cold. If it's not cold, you will not see the gelatin. And I'm sure there's a little fat in here, but that does nothing but season it. Now I chose not to salt mine. I don't know if I told y'all that or not, because I'll be adding it to recipes that has salt in it already. Just strain this. If you're looking for flour sack towels, you can find, I know you can find them at Walmart and Sam's. Now I'm letting this drain into the pan. I'm just kind of swirling it around where it'll go through this cloth. And then what I'm going to do is put mine back in the roaster and warm it back up, because I'm going to can this. If you're in a hurry, you can do this and just kind of squeeze it down, and you can see it comes out of the bottom. This will catch all the little pieces if there's any more in it, and the colander is just there just to assure me that every little piece is out. If you choose to freeze this, you would not warm this up again. You would just get it ready to put in your containers to freeze. So I've had many people ask me to show them how to make bone broth. You don't have to can it. You can freeze it. You can use it right away. It'll stay in your refrigerator about a week. In your freezer, I'd say 3 to 6 months if I was guessing. Google it and find out. But canning it, it will stay for a long time. This was so much fun. And part 2, showing me canning this and using my brand new Presto digital electric canner should be the next video. So y'all make sure and watch this and go cook something.